Welcome back to Houston Life. Bookworms, be glad, be so happy that we have a New York Times bestselling author on the show today. If you are into romance and fantasy and maybe even rooting for the bad guy, we have Nicole Maehrer here. She is back again with a third installment in her book series. Hannah, welcome to Houston Life.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be chatting with you.
I'm equally as happy to be chatting with you because you really have had this amazing growth. I mean, like a forefather of book talk, and now on the New York Times bestseller list. Can you tell people that don't know what book talk is, how you got your start?
Yeah, I love that saying, the forefather of book talk. I feel honored to even be on that bracket. Yeah, book talk. It's this side of TikTok where books reign supreme. It's amazing. I found it during the pandemic. Again, like most people, I downloaded TikTok during the pandemic. And your For You page, it's very smart and knows what you're interested in. So it immediately started showing me clips from the book talk hashtag. And at the beginning, it was a lot of book recommendations, but I was also seeing a lot of bookish skits, which inspired me to make my own bookish skits, which has brought me here today. And it has brought me to my book series. And yeah, that's book talk.
So, book talk is an obsession, but for people who are still getting regular schmegular book recommendations from friends, families, maybe their favorite local bookstore, someone they trust there, how would they find your series? How would one come to stumble upon this series that has taken off?
I'm really fortunate that there's lots of places you can find my books in stores. So I always encourage people to go to their independent bookstore and see if they have it in stock there. But you can find it in Target, Walmart, Barnes& and Noble, online. I'm very, very fortunate that my books are so accessible for people. And I love going to see them in the stores. It's a lot of fun. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm visiting my children. I wave and I'm like, hi.
And what would they search? Would they search fantasy? Would they search humor? I mean, you're a witty, funny person. You're a funny writer. Your
Yeah.
personality really comes through not only in your TikToks, but in this unique perspective you have in writing this series. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think that I watched a lot of things like The Princess Bride growing up, Stardust, Shrek. Like I really loved. I kind of grew up in an era where they were producing a lot of quirky fairy tales that you fall in love with because there's something very comedic about it, but there's also something like very pure-hearted and sweet about it. So I had always imagined creating a story like that, and it kind of got brought about by the TikTok series. But while I was writing it, I kept thinking, this is the story I've always been meant to write because it's an amalgamation of all of my favorite things. It's humor, but it's weighted by some of the heavier moments within the series, and it's just full of characters that I'm absolutely in love with in a fairy tale world where anything can happen. It's magical.
Yeah, that would create some sort of freedom to just know that, hey, there are really no rules in a fantasy land. One of my favorite things is that the main character, Evie Sage, is a Swiftie. That is beyond fun. And I noticed that in your stuff, I mean, you're all for an Easter egg or maybe coding something out for people that are huge fans. Can you give us any hints
Yeah.
about this new book?
Oh, of course, of course. There's Easter eggs in every single book. There's Easter eggs in videos as well. Like I plant them in videos, but I don't plant them in every video, so no one will ever know what's an Easter egg and what's just a random thing that I threw into a video until you find it in the books. Like a lot of things that come about in book three are things that I hinted at in 2021 when I was just making the videos. So I had been seeding a lot of the things that happen in book three, Accomplice to the Villain, for a very, very long time. I think I can hint at one Easter egg, and I would say from book one till now, pay attention to the villain's handkerchiefs. Um,
Oh.
a couple people have caught what I was doing there, and it's not like at all important to the plot. I just thought it was funny. So,
Well, it's giving mastermind in the best way.
oh, thank you. Oh my
That's
God, I'm
amazing.
flattered.
And then I think a lot of people in their head say, okay, one day I do want to write a book. What made you finally say, okay, no, this is my time. This is what I'm going to do. the success aside, I mean, what advice do you have for young writers?
Oh, I think that I truly came about this by accident. People are always complimenting me on my marketing for these books because I make these skits, and I always respond, "Thank you. It was an accident. It wasn't on purpose," which is how I think a lot of things can come about. But I've wanted to write since I was really, really young. I think I was 9 years old in third grade doing a writing assignment, and I fell in love with storytelling. And my parents have always very much encouraged me in that. And I was very lucky that I had parents that were willing to buy me books and were able to buy me books and take me to libraries and encouraged my love of reading and storytelling and provided me with the things I needed to be able to tell stories, like a computer or just a pen and paper. So it's always been something that I've really, really loved. And it kind of came about that I was writing something else while I started making the video series, but it wasn't quite as fun, and it was way heavier. And I always thought like that's what I need to write, is something heavier. But instead I threw that away, and I started writing something that I felt really excited about and passionate about, and something that made me giggle, but also something that made me cry. And it became the story I felt like I was always born to write.
Hannah Nicole Maehrer, you inspire us. A reminder to everyone, Accomplice to the Villain is out now. And don't go anywhere. Houston Life will be right back.